back to my channel. I'm Melanie. I do lifestyle and career related videos. So if you're new here, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're a returning user, welcome back. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, in my last video, I talked about how I decided to go into banking. My high school choices, college choices, and various different internships to get me into kind of where I want to go. So in this video, I want to talk about how I got my full-time offer as an investment banking analyst. I have my notes right here, and I have organized an entire list for you. So hopefully this video will be helpful, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you find this useful. Okay, so first I did what everybody else did. I job searched. I contacted alumni, I had coffee chats, I submitted my resume to various different places, but I heard back from a few companies, and I will tell you the general process of an interview process. So first, if a company sees your resume and they're interested, the HR will have a phone call with you, generally to talk about your background, your college, what you studied, why you want to do banking. This is generally more chill, but you still kind of have to prepare for it, because even though it's only a call with the HR will kind of determine whether you are suitable for a first round of interview call. And also during this time, HR will also see, put a face with the name and a resume together to see, like, overall, is this a great candidate for our company? Does this candidate fit our culture? So let's say your phone call went really well, the HR really likes you. Afterwards, the HR will move forward and pair you with a first round of interview. So your first round of interview is generally very technical. It would be around 70 to 80% all technical questions. So it will first start by an interviewer asking you, okay, tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself question is very tricky, but also it's very easy to prepare. You want it to be as engaging and fun as possible. You don't want it to just be reading off your resume and in a very mechanical and robotic way. Tell me about yourself. You have around 2 to 3 minutes. Give a very in-depth, detailed, and interesting overview of your background, what leads you to what you want to do, and how your previous skills can help your future at this particular company. So after the 2 to 3 minutes, tell me about yourself, the interviewer will ask you to expand on some of your activities, your extracurriculars, or your previous internship experience. So during this time, don't hesitate to talk yourself up, don't hesitate to get in depth and really talk about a specific deal that you're really passionate about. During this time, the interviewer wants to see if your previous experience align with this company's future potential deals, and want to see how you go about explaining yourself, because having a very logical reasoning and a very logical thought process is very key to this industry. Okay, so during your first round of interview, you have 2 minutes about yourself, and then afterwards it will be around 2 to 3 minutes talk about your resume, and then it will heavily come down to technical questions. So technical questions include questions such as, walk me through a DCF, what are comparable companies, what's the difference between comparable companies and present transactions, how do you evaluate a public company, what are the different financial statements that you look at, income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow, which one is the most important. If depreciation goes down by 25%, what would happen to the income statement, balance sheet, and statement of cash flow? And basically just very technical questions that you really have to prepare, because if you answer any of these questions wrong, or you are really stuttering and really just struggling to find an answer, then you are not the ideal candidate for this company. Because even though companies have training programs, they want a candidate to be as familiar with these technical concepts as possible, so the training will go as smoothly and as easy as possible, because the reason why they're hiring you is for you to be useful as soon as possible, as soon as you join the company. So you really need to brush up on your technical skills. And I personally, to help me prepare, I went through the 300 investment banking question guide, and I had a recording device recording the question, and then I would answer these questions and just kind of practicing it by myself. It's also very helpful to ask a roommate or a friend or a parent or even a teacher to help you prepare these questions as well. And you want to seem as confident as possible when you give out your answers to the interviewer. Okay, so 20 minutes of technical questions plus 3 minutes about tell me about yourself and 3 minutes about exploring your resume. That comes down to around 26 minutes, and normally your interview is around 30 minutes. So the last part would normally be the interviewers will say, thank you for asking these questions. Do you have any questions for me before we wrap up this interview? Yes. You definitely need to ask your interviewer questions so it seems like you know what you're doing, you know about this company really well, and you are generally interested in this company and your interviewer, right? So a question that I normally ask would be, can you tell me more about the culture of your group and of your company? How do you feel being in your group? What inspires you? What makes you happy working at this job? So a general rule of thumb for me is I want the interviewer to be talking about himself or herself when answering these questions, but at the same time evoking a positive emotion. If you say, what inspires you about this job? And the interviewer will be so happy to talk about themselves and having a positive emotional reaction. At the end of interview, the interviewer will think, okay, this interviewee is very bright. The interviewee cares about this company, cares about me and what I do in this job. And I feel a positive emotional feedback when talking to this person. So this guarantees you for the next round of interview. Okay, so after your first round of interview, you generally would have a second round of interview, but in some cases you will skip the second round of interview process and go straight into super day. So what is a super day? A super day is a day where you would have around 4 to 5 interviewers interviewing you with around 30 minutes per person. In total, you would have around 2.5 hours to 3 hours of interview time, depending on how many people you're interviewing with. So for me, I had 5 people interviewing me during my super day. So that in total would be 2.5 hours. Super day is very dreadful. I would never want to do this again because it's very emotionally draining and you have to prepare for it a lot. I was really nervous for my super day, but luckily mine was at home, so the environment was less intimidating, which I loved. But to go through a super day interview, again, you would have some people asking you more technical questions, some people asking you more behavioral questions, and some people asking a mix of both. So a general rule of thumb is right before your super day interview, the HR will most likely give you a list of the people that you are interviewing with. So you have to search them up on LinkedIn or on the company website and see their position and their experience. So generally, this is a rule of thumb. If an analyst or an associate is interviewing you, then that means they will ask you more technical questions. And if someone that's more senior, let's say a VP, a director, or a managing director is interviewing you, then they're gonna ask you more behavioral or more macro questions. This is the case because technical questions are such basic entry requirement of becoming a banker that if you don't pass these technical questions, then why are you even here, right? Someone higher up, like an MD or a director, will not bother or not waste their time asking you the most basic entry questions. And instead, they want to know your emotional intelligence. They want to know how you are as a person when things get stressful at work. They want to know how you behave around other people. They want to know your personality, what makes you happy, what makes you upset. They want to know if you are a good fit culturally. So this is why more analysts and associates ask you more basic technical questions while more senior people ask you more behavioral or macroeconomic questions. From my experience, after my Super Day interview, I had to wait about like 2 to 3 weeks before the HR called me and told me, hey, congratulations, you got this position and this is the details of your contract. This is how much you will get paid. Yeah, so I was really happy and grateful that I got my acceptance pretty early on, that I didn't have to worry once I graduated. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and how I talked about my interview experience and how I got my current offer. I hope my video was helpful to you. As I said before, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, and please don't hesitate to leave it in the comment down below. And I will see you in the next video.